Hey everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to Sketch-A-Day Live. I am Spencer Nugent. If this is your first time, welcome. Welcome to the show. Today is all about you guys. It is Fan Friday officially. I should have updated the graphics on our little frame here, but this is your day. This is your chance to get feedback, answer questions. Well, not answer questions, but get your questions answered. All that good stuff. So thank you for being here and being part of the show. We're going to have fun. But to kick things off, I just wanted to give a special thank you and shout out to, let's go back here, our Patreon. Sorry, I wasn't set up for this. For those who don't know, Patreon is a platform that is used to support creators. And some of you have signed up for this, which is awesome. Thank you so much. I should mention as well, if you are watching on Instagram, this experience today, because I'm using an iPad Pro, will be best experienced on YouTube. So you'll want to head over to youtube.com/sketchaday.com, or you can just watch and chill and hang out here. Anyhow, so Patreon's a platform that is used to support your creators. And I have a Patreon, which is actually pretty cool. And some of you have signed up, like I said. It's a way to support your favorite creators. And I wanted to give a special shout out and welcome, as I always do, to our new patrons. We've got Justin Hurst and Junior who have joined. Not required for you to watch the stream. It'll always be free and available, but I do appreciate the support. I never make that a requirement for enjoying my content. So just wanted to say thank you for those who've pitched in. It means a lot. And thank you to all the other patrons as well. Some of you are here. We've got Svetlana and Art. Let's see, who else we got? We got Latrice as always, solid, dependable, always checking in. So thank you so much for being here. All right, we're going to kick things off like we always do with just a little quick warm-up. I'm going to be using Procreate as well as, let's see, I need to switch over. I forgot my flow here. I need to switch over to my iPad Pro. So give me just a sec. I'm going to plug in. So again, you guys on Instagram, you'll want to check out the YouTube if you want the full stream here. All right, there we go. Now we're in iPad mode. Oh, it's the old frame. It's the old frame. It's all good. We'll hang with the old frame. At least it's inside an iPad. I gotta update that. I wasn't planning. So let's warm up and then I'll take a look at your sketch submission. So like we said, the last few streams, we have Jordan, one of our patrons. He has signed up to kind of moderate things for me on the Discord. Volunteered, so much appreciated. Just like I do on paper, I try to warm up on the tablet as well. It gives me kind of a baseline for how this is going to feel. If you are watching on the Insta, like I said, head over to the YouTube and you'll get the full experience. All right, I can paste that link for you into the chat. For you guys on the Insta, here you go. Boom. All right, and I will pin this. So if you want to check that out, be a part of the chat there, feel free. Actually, I'm going to switch back to the new frame. I like the new frame better. We'll just have to deal with the black on the sides, right? I guess I could put picture in picture so you guys can at least see me, right? There we go. Or how about the bottom right there? Okay. What's up, Govin, Mystery, How? Oh, got some new names here. Harry Franklin, Nixon, welcome back. Nicholas Lowe. Would this session be beneficial to my freshman through senior level CAD design students? I think so. At least this is more of a feedback session, Nicholas. We have a Discord channel, or Discord server rather. Thanks to your contributions, I was able to pay for that and upgrade it. So you should be able to upload images and whatnot. So just trying to build some community there. Opportunity for you guys to interact with each other, but also with me outside of the stream. Get feedback. So your students could participate there. You could send them over to the Discord. Certainly. Just getting some circles in here. Alright, just like that. Just like I do on paper. Okay. Same warm-ups. And the reason for that is I want to adjust to the different media here. Okay, we're doing digital. It's a little bit more slick than paper. I do have a matte screen protector on. And even though it's digital, you can always check out my website, sketchaday.com. That's where I post links to the materials, tools, things I use. So once again, if you're watching on Instagram, you're not going to get the best feed here, but I am directly plugged in, so you'll be able to get the full feed on YouTube. I don't know, maybe I should rotate the Instagram camera, but I always feel like that's weird. Maybe you guys could rotate your phones. Thank you, David Genkin, for your contribution. Much appreciated. Sketching along with us today. Okay, I'm going to pick up the pace. I'll probably take a look at maybe 3 of your submissions in the weekly sketch challenge. We have our own weekly sketch challenge for Sketch a Day. This is different from Instagram. This isn't about making the prettiest sketch, just an opportunity for you to try something different and get some feedback. All right, so there'll be a mix of good, bad, ugly. The ugly and bad are mostly mine, so don't worry. Just kidding. It's all subjective, and as long as we can approach this in a spirit of, friendship, good vibes, opportunity to learn, then I think this will be good. This will be productive. So the topic this week was, or is, shoes. I know some of you tried shoes for the first time. I'm not sure if Lori's here. I know they can't join until after a certain time, so maybe they'll catch this on the replay, but we got people trying some new stuff. Svetlana and Art also submitted as well. You guys work in the video game industry, right? Or something like that, concept art, concept designs, illustrations. So it's cool to see a different approach there. All right, a couple more ellipses here. I can feel my shoulder getting warm. I've been enjoying this exercise lately. I'm just gonna rotate my canvas. Sketch some ellipses here as best I can. I am using my Procreate brush pack, by the way. Some of you have emailed me asking, okay, how do I know when to use what brush and where? I am planning on doing a video that explains a bit more of my process, but I'll try and speak to that at least in this video when I pick a certain brush and why I'm using that brush. All right, so feel free to hit me up with any questions. That's available at sketchaday.com, or if you become a patron for 2 months, I will give you those brushes for free. Patrons, of course, get access to all the sketches, source files, everything that you see created on the stream here. So that is one benefit. If it's on paper, it's scanned in high resolution, so you have access to that. Music provided by the amazing Paul Sohi. Thank you again, Paul, for being willing to produce some beats and inspiring me, frankly, to try and produce my own. So after the stream today, I'm gonna zone out, get into my music brain, and try and create some stuff myself. All right, so thank you. Harry's asking, do you have to be a Patreon to join? No, you don't. You don't have to be a patron to join the Discord or the challenge. This is just something I'm doing for all of you guys because I love you. I do love you. Thank you for the support. Being here is like the best thing you could do, really, and it's free. So much appreciated. I hope you're having a great Friday. Okay. All right. So this week we kind of went deep on some of the educational stuff. Even on the warm-ups, I was talking about proportionally how I'm really trying to just get like a 50-50 proportion here. Talked about control, talked about shadows, talked about lighting. We talked about a lot of stuff. So if you want to catch those streams, head on over to YouTube. Everything's archived once again. It's actually something I've spent a little bit of time on. I wanted to make sure that you guys have the latest at your disposal. So I'm gonna have to switch over here. Let's see if I can do this. So if you go to youtube.com/sketchaday, youtube.com/sketchaday.com. I don't have an A/B switcher, and I did have an A/B switcher and like multiple inputs, and I decided, you know what, let me just simplify this process. So here we go. If you go to sketchaday.com, you should see at the top past live streams. Okay, so there it is, 1 day ago, 2 days ago. And so in the last 2, actually 3 streams, I do go over some technical stuff. The stream 2 days ago, we went over some reflections and also complex organic shapes. 3 days ago, we went over shadows and shading with marker. We did some ideation sketching. That's a thing you do in industrial design when you're coming up with lots of ideas. So that's something we did. And hopefully that's been beneficial. So everything's archived on YouTube. If you missed something on Instagram, or if you're just like, this is really weird and I can't focus on the... Whoa. That was weird. I can't focus on the content. So here we go. Thank you for your contribution, UP. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I think those are in rubles. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Svetlana says they draw and edit images in Photoshop for applications. Okay, cool. Govind, it is in the description. So the Discord link is in the video description. I can paste that real quick here. I don't want to spend too much time on the administrative stuff, but since you guys asked, I will send you an invite. All right. This link will expire. Will it expire? Will it? Okay, let's see. All right, I got another link here. I'm gonna send to you. I'm not an expert at Discord. I will admit. So I don't know how long this link will last, but you can use that link as well. Latrice needs the shirt. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Check it out. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Melanin Apparel or something like that was the website. Okay, so I'm going to bounce between Procreate and Fresco. I like both apps for different reasons. Procreate has certain advanced features that Fresco doesn't have yet. All right. Shreya says on Instagram, you deserve a crazy amount of audience. Feels bad when not many people join it. It's okay. Some people, have their thing and they like different content. It's totally fine. I'm having fun, and that's what I'm about, is doing what I love and being passionate about it. So even if 5 people were here, I would do it. I have had my moments where I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to do this, but really I do enjoy it. So anyhow, Procreate has certain features that Fresco doesn't have, so that's why I am using Procreate in this instance. Okay. And I really just wanted to, and I'll show you here. Actually, maybe what I'll do, I got a folder called Fan Friday. Maybe what I'll do here is just show you the Discord real quick. I think that would be perhaps the best thing. All right, so let me switch back over here. I'll show you the channel, the server, the setup, and kind of what we've started. Like I said, with Jordan. All right, so here's the Discord server. If you've ever used Slack, it's a lot like Slack or any kind of IRC or online chat. A little community going we've got. So we have this channel, weekly sketches, and literally this is your chance to submit some sketches for review, for feedback, and not just for me, but for everyone in the channel. I want you guys to work with each other, right? To give each other feedback, help each other out, and all that good stuff. So that being said, the prompt for this week, it's always going to be pinned at the top of the channel. It was shoes. We've got shoes from Jordan here. Alpha Lion has a great example. I did give a little bit of feedback during the week as well. So really nice, clean sketch, orthographic. Truthfully, in the shoe industry, you don't see a lot of perspective drawing shoes. I just like the challenge. And I think if you're designing a 3D object, it's worth considering how it might look in 3 dimensions. Sometimes shoe designers will put like masking tape over what's called a last, which is a mold, or representational proportional object for the shape of a foot, and that gives you a chance to draw these lines on the shoe. But I do think there's some benefit to drawing perspective. This one's from Mistry or Mystery. Really nice job, I thought. Really great job on the texture on the shoe in particular. I would encourage you to maybe speed up your drawing a little bit. It feels a little bit slow for a design sketch. Design sketches tend to be a little bit faster, a little bit more energetic. So that's what I would suggest specifically. On your concept, let's see, we got stuff from Classman here. I'm actually going to take one of these and throw into perspective. Let's see, I will throw something up here for the Instagrammers. Let's go ahead and import Classman sketch. Okay, I've got that there. This is a sketch series or set that I'm talking about, and I'm going to take one of these and throw into perspective. All right, but really nice job, super tight. Jordan throwing in as well. Jordan Null on the Discord. We've got Noyana and a bunch of others. So I'll go through these. Planet Revilo as well. Really interesting ideas. I like the thoughts on perhaps kind of a pattern design in terms of like repetitive line shape and so on in the design. Really creative. Rigel, there's some proportional issues I'll show in Procreate as I kind of tweak and modify this. So we'll get there. We've got Svetlana and Art as well. Thank you so much for your submission. Again, I just love that you guys are submitting all these and interacting. This is awesome. Definitely a more of a painterly style, which I find interesting and challenging for myself. I actually did some painting this week, and I think it's good to, have those experiences painting, as it forces you to think about things a little bit differently than you might as a designer, which is what I do. This is from Ollie Turo. Let's see if this will load up. Hopefully it does. Make sure my stream's okay here. All right. I don't know why this one's not loading up, but interesting idea on pattern for the shoe. And then Lori as well. I'm actually going to pick some of the, let's see, more dressy shoe ideas. She's got some pumps here as well. And then another sketch from Jordan. All right. So this is a Discord server. I've got other servers here on the side, but this is Sketchaday's server. You guys can join, say hi. We got a few of you joining already. Just keep it clean, keep it friendly, keep it happy. You'll be able to show and share your work, get feedback and all that. And I'm just trying to build that community, so hopefully you guys participate and can kind of help each other out. All right, so let's jump into some actual sketching now that I've talked your ears off for so long. All right, here we go. Make sure that looks good. We're good. Okay. Perfecto. Woo! That was a lot of talking. All right. So here we have some sketches that were submitted. I'm just going to throw these off to the side. And like I always say, when in doubt, rough it out, right? And you want to kind of think strategically about how you can sketch some of these things. You can do 2 ellipses. That's one way to do it, right? And just connect these together like so. Got a little kick in the front of the shoe. So I just got these 2 ellipse shapes. Got these 2 ellipse shapes here. Hold on just a sec. I forgot to put my stuff on Do Not Disturb. Well, it is on Do Not Disturb. I guess phone calls come through anyways. Hold up. Okay. So you can kind of start with 2 ellipses like that. Right, and then if you just kind of come off to the side and round out, imagine that this ellipse is offset down like so, then you get the base of the shoe and kind of that loop plane method if you want, right? You can kind of sketch in the shape of the shoe and start to kind of just feather out those curves. Now looking at this shoe, I'm trying to remember who it was by actually. And I knew that would be a challenge as I was streaming. I was like, okay, you're going to have a hard time remembering which sketch is from who. This is from Classman. So just trying to, be true to this design a bit. I'm going to pick this one here. All right. And I like using red and blue pen as I'm doing this, or color choice rather, because it allows me to almost layer without creating a new layer. All right, so once again, this is Sketchaday Live. Thanks for joining. And now I'm just going to kind of interpret. What I'm looking at is this section on the shoe here. We've got these little laces, okay, or something. You know, what does that look like in perspective? How do I interpret that? So I'm imagining a cross section here. All right, so I'll just sketch these in nice and rough, and you'll kind of see in just a sec how the blue pen, pencil, whatever kind of helps out. Actually, maybe I'll just continue these through so it doesn't feel so weird. We got a lot more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5. So let's see if I can actually take my time here. All right. Be a little bit more considered, if you will. All right, let's take a look. We've got a little thing that comes up here, dives down, back up, and then over into some sort of cuff, it looks like, or collar. But again, I'm gonna try and be somewhat true to these designs. All right, but this is where I feel like sketching in perspective can be helpful as you try to figure out, okay, what's actually happening in these designs? What am I actually sketching here as I sketch in 2 dimensions? Sometimes I found anyways in my career that if I'm living in 2 dimensions, I miss out on, you know, details and so forth. All right. Looks like there's a little window here for some cushion. Something like this. Now I'm gonna just switch colors to some blue. And I kind of like something like an indigo IK blue. That's just my own thing. But here I can start to, you know, refine if I need to. Right? And kind of figure out what's happening. Right, so it just gives you a little bit of clarity without me having to create a new layer or anything right here. Okay, just like that. It's one of the dangers of live streaming on your iOS devices. Sometimes you get phone calls or things happening or whatever. So pardon the interruption. This is Sketch Day Live. As always, hope you're having a happy Friday. I guess it's a little bit of a little liquid Friday. I do have a beverage going, so it's Liquid Fan Friday, if you will. I can turn that badge on. I do have that badge I can turn on. Let's see. Let's see here. Boom. Liquid Friday, let's go. Just kidding, it's kind of distracting. So you guys need to see the whole frame. All right. No worries, Explosive Yoda. Just wanted to kind of show you guys how you might, or how I might rather, approach some of these things. So really nice detailing in orthographic view here. Definitely a distinct look. Trying to make sure I stay true to the design, like I said. All right, so those blue lines kind of help me pull out the details where I need to. All right, looks like that lip comes up a little bit. I don't have much information on the tooling itself, so I'm just going to assume that this shoe, I'm going to reduce the size of this detail here, but I'm just going to assume that this shoe has just maybe a simple gum sole or something like that going on. Okay, so now I'll just move this here, reduce the opacity. To do that in Procreate, you just take your 2 fingers, 2-finger tap on the layer, and then I can slide and adjust. Okay, so that's Procreate. Let's keep this sketch quick. Let's see, I'm gonna jump to my mega pack here. I've got a few more brush options. So on my website, you'll find a few options for brush packs that you can download or purchase rather. This is from the mega pack, but it's also available in the pencils if you just want the pencils, for example. right. So now at this point, it's just about overlaying. All right. And figuring out exactly what's happening with a little bit more precision. So we kind of had the two layers, the red, the blue, and now just trying to get a decent sketch here, move really quickly. And this isn't about tracing, so remember it's about redrawing. So think of it like, hey, those lines below are just a guide, and this is my chance to redraw what I did before and also be expressive. So that's the way I like to think of it. Okay, because if you trace, you're going to be trying to move a lot slower, but you want to approach things with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the same confidence, okay, that you may have put into your underlay. And that's just going to make for a much more exciting and energetic sketch. Let's see, I just want to make sure, okay. Make sure I'm representing these details the right way. I asked a question today on my Instagram. I think I'm going to send out a poll to you guys on the next stream, but I am actively working on my book, and I'm curious just what some of the difficult things are about sketching. That could be topical or it could be technique-wise. I feel like there's enough how-to draw books in the world, so I'm trying to put together more of a how I draw book. But I am curious what curiosities you guys all have about drawing, for sure. Yeah, this is a really interesting shoe and detail here. This is actually a little bit off, so I'm going to go ahead and erase. With the eraser, you have brushes as well you can use. So let's jump to my favorites, hard round. Let's just get this cleared up. I haven't tried the new Procreate 5X. Maybe this is updated already. I wouldn't know. So I just haven't had time this week. But perhaps I'll get into it once I get it. Also, what do you guys think of that new iPad Air? I don't really see much of a need for the iPad Pro anymore. Besides the size of the screen, I do personally like having the bigger screen. And as you're doing this, if you want to check, you can turn your layer on and off, right? So I can turn that on and off. And now, hopefully you can see in perspective, you get a better sense for, okay, what would some of these things look like, right? As we're doing this, what would some of these design elements I'm putting in here actually look like? You know, how do I terminate this kind of stretchy, what I'm assuming anyways, is a stretchy material as it's ribbed. How do I terminate that here? Is there like a stitch or seam underneath? Just things you can think about that I think drawing in perspective give you a chance to evaluate before you fall in love with a certain profile. I actually find it interesting that the shoe design industry doesn't do more perspective drawing, right? Because I'm changing the shape of this opening here, perspective-wise. But like the automotive industry, you don't just design cars in orthographic views. And I get there's a need for speed to market. Maybe it has to do with accessibility in terms of talent, because it's a lot harder to sketch something in perspective and understand what you're doing and the flow of what you're doing and all that. So maybe that's a part of it. I don't know. Would there be a gap between the screen and pencil and drawing on the new iPad Air? I don't know. And I don't... Oh, I missed 2 donations? Did I? No, I called out David Genkin and UP. I said thank you, Alexander. Alex. Sorry if I missed some other donations. Do you mean like PayPal or Venmo or something? All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean there. So my apologies if I missed out on that. I'm just checking my email, checking all the things. I probably need someone to help me with my streams. That's probably what I need, honestly. All right. So let's keep going here. This is a pretty cool shoe idea, like I said. And I think just to mix things up, like I said, I'll give everyone some light critiques and proportional tweaks on your perspective sketches, but I'll do one more of these. That's just a different style, and that's going to be... People keep calling me. That's going to be from... I need to just turn off answering calls on my iPad. That's what I need to do. Anyhow, that's just going to be a different style of shoe. So I want to do like a pump or something like that. Alright, there's that little detail here on the side, at least. Just a quick interpretation of it. Alright, something like that. And there. I'm trying not to be as tight on some of these lines. Some of these lines are like a little too straight. So if I'm drawing this in perspective, I kind of have to be aware of the fact that these lines will curve. All right, so that's what I'm just trying to do there. And this pencil is actually pretty cool because you do have some texture to it. If I zoom in really close, it has texture. It also has tilt. So if I do want to tilt my stylus and shade, right, real quick, I can do that as well. Notice when I'm 2-finger tapping, maybe you guys can't see on the YouTube, but I'll show you here. As I'm 2-finger tapping, right, if I have the stylus close to the screen and then I 2-finger tap, sometimes it won't register as an undo. Sometimes it'll do, sometimes it won't. So I've gotten in the habit of kind of taking my stylus and just flipping it as far away from the screen, and then I do my 2-finger tap. So if you ever get in a situation where you find that your commands aren't recognized, it's possible that your stylus is too close to the screen. All right. Okay. So we'll just go in here, make some of these lines a little bolder. Material wise, I'm not sure what's happening here, but if this is an overlay, I'm just going to add some stitches to this overlay. You know, perhaps even a double stitch. I do have a brush that's a stitcher brush if you want to use that as well. It comes with the mega pack. I'll show you what that looks like. So if I scroll down to my double stitcher here, and you like doing footwear, you can use this, but like I said, it has its limitations and it feels a little static. But you know, I could use it on something like this right up here. And so now I have, oops, it wouldn't go like that. Go like that. But now I have some double stitching, right, on this shoe. So kind of just a fast way to do that. All right. Let's go ahead and finish up some of our lines here. I do wish that Procreate had almost like an easy way to favorite my brushes. That's something I do love about Fresco, is if you love a brush, you can make it a favorite really easily. Super easy to do that. All right, so there is finally my sketch outline of the shoe. All right, so let's add some quick color to this. I'm not gonna go too crazy, maybe just some gray here. I'll use the marker brush for texture actually. This is just a clean marker brush that I have. And I'm just being kind of loose with the color here so that I do get some nice texture, right? So it almost feels a little bit like perhaps some fabric. Let's switch my color. I'm gonna go with something more of an orange. And I'll just do the same layer. I don't usually do the same layer, but I'm just gonna do the same layer. So this brush is designed like a marker, meaning if I want to, I can keep applying some tone here and start to get things like a shadow core, much like I would with a real marker. So kind of cool, kind of fun. There's a weird non-resolution happening right here, okay, that I neglected to point out. So right here, see how this brush, by the way, I picked this, I don't use it a ton, but look how like jelly-like that stroke feels. That's because there's a lot of smoothing on this brush. I use this for tracing, so if I'm actually intently tracing something and I just want it to be super smooth and clean, I'll actually use this brush because it's gonna smooth out some of those bumps that I have. All right, not everything, but enough that if I want to draw a nice line here, it's gonna smooth that out. So just another brush in the kit. But like I said, there's a weird non-resolution happening right there. So I've got to figure out what to do. So I'm just gonna put a little thing right there so I could separate that color out. But I painted it all on the same layer, so whatever. All right, back to my marker brush. I'm gonna go back to the smooth clean. It doesn't really matter that much. There's options. So I'm just gonna use this marker brush. Get these laces in. And even though you buy the set, you can always go in and modify settings. So if you have a setting that you like better, you know, just throw that in, make it your own. I like to think of them as just a standard all-around good set of brushes you could use as an industrial designer if you were, you know, quickly sketching some concepts or whatever. And this is where layers come in handy, right? So for the toe of the shoe, I think I am going to make that white, but I'll just make it like a nice pale gray, bluish gray. But I can do this underneath all the other layers here, all right? If you want to keep that white, maybe just add some shadow. We can do that. A little bit of a little marker brush action here. And if this is piping, I can add some more marker to that. Or we can try and use something like our crisp air highlighter here. Okay. So what this is going to do is going to give you a nice core with some fade off, okay? So right in here, I'm going to pick a darker color, one that's going to show up. And now, just on this piping, I mean, it depends on how detailed you want to get with your process and your sketch. I don't want to turn this into a full-blown rendering necessarily. And let's see, let's use the soft clean air here, and I'm gonna, on a new layer actually, and let's go ahead and set this to multiply. So if you tap on the little letter next to the name of the layer, that's gonna give you your blending options. So I can pick multiply here, rotate my canvas, and now just paint just along the shadow core, right there. So now I've got a nice shadow core and maybe a secondary core shadow on the top of the shoe, and that's going to instantly give you some 3D feel. I can jump to this soft air highlighter. It's called a highlighter, but think of it more as a core brush, core airbrush, where I can accentuate some of these cores. All right, so I can come in, accentuate there, along the tooling here as well. If we have a nice rounded gum sole of some sort, you can just airbrush and finesse that in. You can also flip the color on a new layer. I'm going to use a little smaller version of this, and now I can get a reflected light shadow on the back. Alright, something like that. So lightest lights, darkest darks, that's going to give you the right amount of contrast. Like so, and just really help things pop, okay? I'm gonna change the music, sorry guys. I think it already looped through once, so let's see. Let's go to songs. Alright, here we go. Yeah, how do I mark brushes as my favorite in Procreate, Latrice? Because I'm not sure. Do I just tap and hold? I know you can in Fresco, but yes, let me know. I'm always learning. I don't know everything. Sometimes people think I know everything, but I don't know everything. And I don't know why people think I know everything, because if you've watched me for any time, I'm always like, you know, I don't know, or that's interesting, or whatever. So whew, a little tired. Sorry guys. Alright, so just using this marker a little bit here, and if you creatively apply your stroke, like so, think about your shadows, if you got overlapping things, right, strategically leave some white spots. I'm going to use a deeper color here. Strategically leave some white spots, then you can communicate surface. Alright. So just like I would with a real marker. A small marker, but a real marker right through there. So Sketch a Day Live, thanks again for joining, being a part of the stream. Thanks to the patrons, as well as you guys for just being here. A little bit of shadow under these. Just a contact shadow under those laces. And if we want to add some highlight here, we can do that with whatever brush you want, really. I think I'm going to use this felt brush just to get some texture in here. All right, so nice and light. And we can also make this dark right along the shadow here, our core shadow. That's just going to help give those areas a little bit of texture, right? So a little texture there, a little texture here, and so on. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just finish up with a nice clean shadow underneath, a little context shadow here, drop shadow if you will, on the ground. And let's erase, just making sure it's the right brush. Erase where the shadow is not. The reason I had to do that is I did not paint a color in for the outsole and the tooling, so kind of had to do that manually. I do want to add just a little bit of value on the inside here, a little cushion spot. Alright, and if anything needs a highlight, you can always come in, you know, new layer here, just using a small marker brush. If there's, you know, a little puckering here where we got our stitches, for example, you can highlight that. If this is a little shinier on the back, a little highlight, and so on. So there's a lot you could do to this. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but thank you for your submission. Much appreciated. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit there, and hopefully that was fun for you. Let's do another one. Or actually, I'm going to go through a couple examples, all right? And the reason I can do this is, well, for one, I already saved them all, but I wanted to just play with proportionally and tweak some stuff here, all right? Just wanted to kind of tweak some stuff. So I'm going to scale this one up. This is from Jordan, our mod on the server, all right? So what I can do here is in Procreate, if I tap the arrow, that's going to allow me to now manipulate the sketch, all right? That's going to allow me to manipulate the sketch. Okay, so if I tap warp, I can now kind of pull and push and tweak this here and there. So a couple of things. Let me actually get out of this. I'm going to undo. Let's go ahead and save or duplicate this layer so we can kind of see the difference. And I'm going to turn this to change the blending mode, sorry, to multiply. All right, so we got two of the same layer on top of each other, and that's because I want to show you the changes. All right, but before I do the changes, let's go ahead and redline some of Jordan's sketch here. Now I always do these by saying I'm not a shoe designer, okay, but I can sketch a shoe and I can do it reliably and consistently well. All right. Okay, so here, I think last time we talked about proportion in terms of the shoe itself, right? And we kind of had these elliptical shapes, and this one was supposed to kind of go like if you're looking at a shoe, right? It kind of had almost thirds that we're dealing with there, but this section here being more of kind of this egg shape, and then we've got another egg shape here, and we can transition these two shapes. So this I feel needs to be a bit more like so. If I were looking at the structure of the shoe, this feels a bit too chunky in the front, so I'd perhaps thin that out a little bit and then give a little bit more meat to the back. And the reason for that, and the reason it's hard and looks weird, is if I have a wedge, right, and I'm sketching this, well, let me do it in 2D first. If I have a wedge like this, okay, so in side view, front view, looks something like this. In perspective, right, the back of this wedge is still gonna look kind of big. So it trips you up a little bit. And so even though in perspective you want that taper, you got to kind of respect the fact that there is some meat back here. So that's why I would drop your heel, okay, a little bit more, at least that line that defines the heel of the shoe. And then the front of the shoe here, so in terms of foreshortening, okay, where you've got your toe box for your shoe, this is going to appear a bit longer. So I would actually push this back just a bit more, okay. So maybe your toe box actually begins here, and then you have the tongue of your shoe. This feels a little bit too tall. So if I'm drawing this in a side view, Jordan, we're gonna get something like this happening. It feels odd to me, but perhaps that's your design concept, which is fine. I'm just kind of assuming a normal, or what I would consider to be commonly accepted general proportion happening. All right, so I would perhaps drop that line down. All right, so let's take my red lines off here and let's start chopping. All right, so the first thing, like I said, the back here feels a little bit too tall. All right, so I'm gonna pull this down. And if you're wondering why you're seeing two sets of lines, remember, I do have the original sketch behind, so I can make that a little lighter if you want. So that already feels a lot better to me. Okay, like I said, the toe box here and your eye stay, we can probably bring that. Oops, wrong layer. Gonna make sure I'm on the right layer here. So let's go ahead. Yeah, let's make a selection. I'm just gonna chop this one up. And then we'll do one last sketch from Lori. All right, so something more like this, because we want more breathing room in the toe box. Okay, at least speaking in terms of perspective. All right, I'm gonna take this now. Let's drag your line up here. Okay, like I was saying, the front feels a little bit too meaty. So I'm going to pull that in. I guess you've got the shadow there that we're working with as well. And then the back, I'm going to give a little bit of girth, not girth, but thickness too, and just pull that out just a little bit, like so. All right, let's turn off the layer below. Maybe move these side by side or something so we can kind of see a little bit better. I thought my idea would work, but let's go ahead and turn that up. All right, so hopefully that's a little helpful. You can see the changes here. You know, move that up, push that down. We pull this out. All right, made this a little bit thinner. Okay, right through there. And so, again, trying to get this kind of shape in here on the shoe. All right. Okay, so that's Jordan's. Let's pick another one here. Let's make a new file. Are we on time? Yeah, we're good on time. I'm gonna go for another 15 minutes or so. All right, so let's go ahead, import another file here. I was gonna play with Svetlana and Arts a little bit because I thought you guys did really well. Okay, there's some of our patrons. Like I said, this one's pretty awesome. I don't know if you're looking at reference or what's going on, but I can totally see, you know, you've got that shape going in there. Maybe a little bit thinner on the front if we were to tweak proportion a bit, but overall this feels really good. This one I think could benefit from a little bit of tweaking. So also in Procreate, if I swipe down with my 3 fingers, I have the option to cut and paste, duplicate, whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this, and then now, where's my layer? Oops, I made a mistake. Alright, let's make a selection. I was on a separate layer. My bad. Alright, so I'm going to pick this, swipe down. I'm going to cut and... Oop, I didn't want to cut and paste. Swipe down. I want to duplicate, which is basically copy and paste. Alright, so now I'm going to go to warp as my option here, and we can kind of push and pull some things. I think I need to be a bit more surgical though. So one thing I'm looking at is right here. Okay, I just want to make sure this has the right shape. Okay, so maybe something more like that. And then top here, I'm going to go ahead and pull that forward. Pull this down. We need some room in the toe box, okay? Even the tongue as well, and eye stay, we can pull that a little bit more forward. Alright, something like that. And then on the back side here, pull this down, maybe a little bit out, like so. Just gonna take a little massaging here, guys. Alright. I keep jumping back to the pen. I'm gonna pull this in as well. Like so. And then I'll just go ahead and sketch over on the tooling here. Alright, so probably a line like this. Alright, a little bit more curve. And then because we have that taper from front to back, I think you could do with thinning out. Just making this part a little thinner. Okay, right through there. Something like that. Alright. Remember your cross section as you go through here, because that's going to tell you if you are lighting this. It's going to tell you where to put your highlights, right? You're going to have light there, light here, light there, for example, right? Probably even a little bit right there and through here. So hopefully that helps you guys just a little bit as well. All right, Latrice, I'll check out that video. But yeah, probably just some secret feature I was not aware of, but you guys are. Thanks for sharing that with me. Thanks for joining me on Sketchaday Live once again. Oh, the Liquid Friday thing is still up. My bad. I was like hiding all of this from you. My apologies, people. I don't know where my beverage went. Hopefully it's not somewhere waiting to cause a mess. That'd be tragic. All right, so that's Svetlana Arts. Great job. Thanks for submitting. Let's do one more transform tweak here. I'm just gonna jump to my files. I'm trying to remember who this was by. This was. Let's go ahead and rotate in the meanwhile. I'm gonna duplicate that, just so I have a copy to reference here. Alright, so we can have one up here. I'm just gonna make a quick and dirty selection here. We'll cut and paste that. Get rid of the other layer. Alright, so there's our reference. I guess I could just duplicate that. What am I doing? What am I doing? Alright. So we'll just reference these two. Again, I will export all these files to the Patreon folder. And I'll export the Procreate files, so if you want to jump into the file, you'll have all the layers. You could replay the sketch and everything I did. So again, that's a benefit of being a patron. All right. Okay, so this was by, let's see if I can get this here. This was by Rigel. All right? Not bad. I just think the toe of the shoe in the front here is a little bit long. Alright, so I'm gonna take this and let's see if we can just pull it in a little bit. Alright. Pull it in, maybe change the shape of the toe a little bit, like so. Alright, so that's starting to feel a little bit better. Right through there. Okay, and I'm gonna pull back even more right there. Let's make another selection. See if we can tweak a little bit as well. All right, I'll probably do the same thing I did on the tooling for Svetlana and Art, and then on the back side, let's go ahead and give the shoe a little bit of attitude. Okay, give the shoe a little bit of attitude. Pull things in a little bit, like so. Alright, I'm gonna pull the tongue of the shoe down as well, on the far side specifically. The reason for that is if I'm in perspective, right, things that are moving this way are or moving away from the viewer. Sorry, you can't see what I'm saying when I say this way, but they're gonna get a little smaller. So I'm just trying to pull that in, right? So it feels a little bit better there. And then now on our tooling, let's go ahead and pull this out like so. Maybe make it a little bit thicker, more cushioned. All right. And I'll just use this red pencil to kind of show you, right? So in addition to the two kind of ellipse thing I'm visualizing here in this almost connection here, this is what I'm thinking when I transform this. I'm also thinking of, okay, there's probably, you know, like a ball of your foot is going to be right there, right? So if I'm going to try and draw some toes here, forgive me, but, you know, big toe, arch of the foot, and then up, like so, right? So I'm trying to make room for the ball of your foot when I do that. I should have drawn that on a separate layer, but there's that ball, and then you could argue, you know, something of a cylinder. I'm just thinking in terms of very simple, very simple geometry here. Okay. Arch of your foot, if I were to simplify. Okay. So something like that is what I'm thinking of when I draw a shoe. So that's why I'm trying to give it a little bit of attitude. Okay. By attitude, I mean this direction. So pull that in, give it some attitude, right? Because when you draw the shoe from the side, we're going to want to continue and just have that directionality. Oops. Have that directionality in the way the shoe is drawn. All right, so hopefully that helps, but I think great start. The shading actually makes this feel a bit textured, but you want it to feel fast, so just work on the attitude of that shoe and it should help out. All right, so the last sketch I'm going to do today is one, or inspired by rather, some that Lori did. So these are by Lori Burt. Okay, and I like that she's doing pumps. You know, that's cool. So I kind of wanted to show, again, in a somewhat structured way, how I might think of sketching a pump. So again, if I take a look at Lori's sketch here, you know, let's pick one of these to do. Which one? I mean, this one would be interesting, certainly challenging. I mean, I could. What do you guys think? Which one should we do? Should we do A? Should we do B? Or should I do these low shoes, C? I'm gonna run to the restroom and I'll be right back. But let me know what you guys think. A, B, or C. All right, we got some votes here. We've got A, B, A, and C. B looks interesting. All right, so we got 3 votes for B. And we've got 2 for A, 1 for C. All right, so it's between B and A, it looks like. So I think I'm going to go with B because it would be... B would be. B seems like more of a challenge, so I think I'm going to go with that. I think I'm going to go with B, unless... Yep, we got another vote for B. Another vote for B. All right, let's do B. So I'm going to go ahead and... Let's see. Should I merge these? I'll merge these, or we can group them. So if you want to group something in Procreate, just tap on the layer, hold, drop it on the one just above, and now you have a new group, and now I can just transform that whole group. All right, so I'm going to do one that looks like B. Just a watch out here for you in Procreate. If you move something off the canvas and then commit to that transform, it's locked. All right, so that means what you had is now erased. So be mindful of that as you move things around the canvas. That's just something you want to be aware of. Okay, so let's do B. I'm going to duplicate this. And I don't know if Lori is interested in critique. What have I done? What have I done? Let's turn that back on. I'm going to duplicate that selection. There we go. Let's move this out because now I can move this over here. What just happened? All right. So there it is all blown up. There's Lori's sketch. All right. So looking at this sketch, let's do a little bit of instruction here, and then I'll attempt to draw one of these, and maybe I'll render it in black. All right. So I can't see the other side here. So one thing I might want to do, and I also want to consider, okay, if my heel is here, and I don't know a ton about women's shoes personally, but from what I recall, this seems to be a bit more flat. So I'd actually pull that up, right? And then come down to our shape here in the front, which is going to be a bit more pointed. Now I'm just going to kind of sketch this out in terms of planes, right? So seek or try and find ways to simplify what you're going to draw. All right, so if I just draw that in terms of planes, right, just straight lines, that's going to make it a lot easier for me. And I can pick this point, for example, and now come down and just curve between these two. And now I've got the shape or the basis for that bottom shape. All right, we've got this little strap here at the top, which I think is pretty cool. And I'm also trying to imagine, okay, if there's a foot in here, what does that look like, right? So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm going to give a little bit more room in the front here. Lori's really into fashion, so This is a great submission. In terms of just getting something different, like I get into the urban, athletic kind of streetwear, or I should say streetwear, not urban. I'm trying not to use that word as much lately. But I do tend to get into that streetwear mindset quite a bit. So this is good. All right, so Lori's shoe has this little piping bit here. Now, in terms of perspective, right? If I'm saying these are my perspective lines, when I get up to the top here, right, my strap is now actually gonna be like that. So I have to be mindful of that. Or am I saying, you know, this line is what's suggesting the change in perspective, but I can also do something like this in terms of my perspective. So yes, once I get up to the top, my strap should, right, be a bit more of a flat perspective. So just pay attention to that as you're drawing, and that's going to help you. Hello, Ashraf, Dama, Josh. If you're watching for the first time, be sure to hit subscribe. All right, turn on alerts. That way you'll know when I go live. All right. So thanks for hanging with me on this Liquid Friday, somewhat Liquid Friday. I did bring my beverage after all. How am I streaming from Procreate? I have a magical device here on my desktop. Well, you guys can't see it now, but I have a device on my desktop that allows me, I guess you can see it now. Let me zoom out. While I take a little breather here, allows me to control my cameras. So all my inputs go in here, including my laptop. So that's how I swap and switch through things for you guys on the YouTube. All right, let's keep going. Oh, thank you, Ashraf. Thank you for being a subscriber. The channel's growing. It's not blowing up, but it's growing. So definitely tell your peeps about sketchaday.com. I heard Roshan is streaming right now, so if you're watching his stream and not mine, I hate you. Just kidding. I don't hate you. I love you. I'm just bad at keeping my emotions bubbled. I'm good at being perfect. I'm good at being trouble. That is from the oracle of our generation, Tyler the Creator. All right, let me get serious here and finish up. Enough with the silly. All right, so I've got this line that I'm drawing right here. This line right here. Let me make this underlay a little bit lighter so you guys can see. There's also filters in Procreate. I guess I didn't even use... oh, they added new filters. Okay. Before I get in trouble, I better play with this a bit more. But I'm going to use curves. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to do curves on this layer. I think that's what I need to do. But I'm trying to make the black show up. Okay. And this white disappear. All right, cool. Woo! I know you can paint with filters now. I know you can paint with filters, so that's what I'm trying to do. All right, so now I need to look at this point here and move over, and from this point, you know, so you're kind of just looking over and trying to mirror to get this other side in, right? That's what I'm trying to do here. Got to get that other side in, like so. Got our shape on the back, and now I'm gonna try and draw in the heel. All right. So Lori has this cool fluted shape. All right, I'm just gonna follow this perspective line, come down here. Latrice, did you ever finish your t-shirt design? I'm curious. Did you finish and submit that? All right, so I got this shape, and now I'm just gonna curve back and then up like so. All right. All in blue pencil, because as you guys know, when in doubt, rough it out. Is a MacBook Air fine for streaming? You know, I used to stream from my MacBook Pro, and the fans would like, it was like being at an airport, plane's about to take off. It was insane. A friend of mine told me get a separate computer for streaming. So I don't know if you guys know how much money I've spent on my studio, but I invest a lot of money in what I do, not because I make money doing it, but because I love it. And I want to put on the best possible experience for you guys. So I bought a computer. It's a Mac Pro. I actually bought it a few years ago, but I do have a Mac Pro that is dedicated for streaming. So that's what I do. Okay. So just trying to imagine the outline here of the shoe. How about we combine some of these design things? It looks, oh yeah, we do have this piping element that she had on the design here. I'm not sure if these are peaks necessarily on the shoe, but it seems as though there needs to be more of a return here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blue line sketch this in. Again, you can alternate blue and red here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of something to the side. Like so. The line is kind of wavy, so I'm not entirely sure what the design intent is here. What's up, Rodrigo? Fan from a long time. So today's Fan Friday, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, and this is your time. Pardon me. Whew. This is your time to submit your sketches for feedback, all of that stuff. Okay, good. I'm glad you benefited from that. It was super fun. And I love your design. I think you should keep working on it, move forward with it, and I'd love to see what you come up with and create. So, and happily feature it here as a follow-up. I should let you guys know I did get my glasses from Banton Frameworks. I'm just working on recording and editing a video specifically about them. So I'm really excited to show you guys how that all turned out. All right, so now I'm gonna do my more finished sketch here of this design. I kind of like these wing things, and again, I'm not sure. Let's see, this rounds this way, and then it would come up and then go back down, something like that. All right, just trying to connect those curves and make sure they look good. Get our outsole here. I'm gonna try and be clean. I sketch so rough all the time, but I'm gonna try and be a bit cleaner here. Do you guys ever get the feeling in life? I don't know if it's just being, 37. My birthday's coming up. How should I celebrate my birthday? Maybe I should do like a 24-hour stream. Or at least like a 4-hour stream or something. Have like a sketch-a-day birthday party. That'll be fun. But do you guys ever get the feeling, as I'm rambling here, that there's just so little time and there's so many things I want to do in life? Like, I'm envious in some regards of you younger people who have your whole lives ahead of you. You got so much to look forward to. Life's a lot simpler when you're young. You may not feel that way, but like, seriously, life is so simple. Actually, let's make this a bit of a point here. Anyhow, life is very simple when you're young, and I feel like feel like I just don't have as much time as I used to, you know? Like I started my day today at, I think, 5. Cleaned up, worked out. Did some social media stuff. And I'm like, holy wow, it is already, at least where I am, it's 1:40 p.m. It's crazy. Oh, alright, Latrice, alright. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do a streaming birthday something. Actually, I don't even know what day my birthday is on this year. Let's see. It is... This year, my birthday is on a Tuesday, alright? So maybe we'll do a Tipsy Tuesday birthday party. But yes. I am gonna render this shoe out. So I guess we're going back to the old days where I would stream for like 2.5 hours straight. But I kinda wanna do this one. I want to do this one in more detail, so I mean, not without lines, but certainly I'm up for the challenge in doing this in like patent leather black or something. All right, I don't know how this heel would work necessarily, but the flare is interesting, so I'm gonna try and keep that. Triangle point. It's a triangle, so what I've done in perspective, right? It's always trippy because when you're in perspective, you're like, oh, but the lines, they all have to go to the point. Well, it's a triangle, so you know, if this is a square and I want to figure out the triangle, then I'm gonna have that shape. So before you go through a existential crisis about perspective, just remember, sometimes some things are gonna seem to break your perception of what those rules are. Alright, so turn that layer off. There's our sketch of our shoe. Okay, and like I said, I want to do this in black. Alright. Weewis Phoenix, hello. Or Weewis. VIP pass to what, Rodrigo? I'm confused. Did I say something? Oh, the birthday party, yes. Okay. That would be actually interesting, a birthday event. Should I make it a paid event? Maybe I'll do a free YouTube, but then do a paid event. that would be fun. Anyhow, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this sketch, and just for the purposes of, should I do this? Should I? Yeah, let's group these together. I'm just gonna group these, and then I can just move the whole group and transform, because I want this to be a bit bigger. Alright, so now I'll turn these layers off. Let's duplicate, because patrons are gonna have access to this file. If you use Procreate, you will be able to replay the whole sketch and see every stroke that I made. Alright, so black is interesting because you have to think about a lot of highlights and reflections, but I'm gonna do this shoe like a black patent leather shoe. So let me jump to my favorites here, and instead of using a full black, I'm using just a deep gray because I want to be able to go a little bit lighter and darker. Alright, so just a nice deep black here. And I'm gonna just create an outline. Sometimes, well, maybe they fixed this for Procreate 5X, which I believe is what I'm using right now. I haven't even checked, because I know they just released an update. I'll just shade this in here. Sometimes it used to like crash and freeze when I would do the fill, so you just drag the color drop. Okay, it did not crash or freeze this time. Awesome. So I'm just gonna shade this in. like so. All right, it looks super dark on the Instagram, probably looks super dark on the YouTube, so definitely pick up the file if you can. That'll be available to patrons once again. People like Latrice and Svetlana and Lori. Let me see who else is here that's a patron. Thank you, David, for your contribution, as well as UP. I don't know how to pronounce or say what was said. Venrathim asked earlier, and I missed that question. Did I study IDE at a university or college? Yes, I studied industrial design. That's what I did. But I fancy myself more of a creator and educator these days. So that's what I do. All right. So you guys have seen me do Chrome, and that's how I'm going to approach this. So let's go to my mega. I need to get more organized here, guys, for real. But I'm just going to use my inker. Okay, the inker is just a nice, solid, crisp, sharp brush. It doesn't look sharp there, but it is a sharp, crisp brush. It doesn't look sharp because Procreate does not support vector brushes at the moment. I don't know if they're working on that. They haven't told me. But I'm just going to paint in some artifacts here. Artifacts are the little reflective bits you get when you look at something really shiny. So take a look at take a look at yourself when you use the restroom, right? Take a look at yourself when you go to a public restroom, or you see like a shiny chrome pipe or surface, and just study your reflection. Okay, see what happens when you've got those curved surfaces. What does that look like? Because that's gonna help you figure out ways to just abstract these reflections that might happen. So if this is something like patent leather, for example, I'm gonna go behind here. You could pick whatever color. It really just depends on the lighting in your scene, what you want to do here. I'm gonna use the soft clean air. All right, just get a nice general highlight blend here, right? If we've got our light source through our scene, we're also gonna get a little bit of reflected light on this shoe. As it's close to the ground, we're gonna get a little bit here on the sides, on the back. It's going to depend on the intensity of the light and position of the light as to what your reflections look like. But I can jump back to that inker, a new layer here. So if the light, for example, if we just have some sort of light source right there, okay, we're gonna get that nice intense reflection happening right through there, and perhaps carrying through our other strap. And what I like to do when you have those intense spots is then on a new layer, just above everything, like kind of just like the super layer almost, because I want this to feel like it's glowing, these highlights. So just above everything else, okay, we get that little bit of bleed in that highlight. All right, so that's gonna help. Thank you, Seisman Demowski. Thank you. I don't know if these are red bottoms or not, but Lori has not specified or told me in her submission here. Normally I wouldn't go this long, but I am having fun, so. And my kids are off school today. We just had parent-teacher conference, council, whatever they call it these days. So they're off. I think they're playing games right now. Alright, so I just want to create a little bit of suede, or I don't know, some sort of texture in here. Let's get our shadow in. If you want to pick a color from the canvas, you can do that as well. Just tap and hold. Alright, and I'll just kind of blend these here together. Just like so. And we also had, I wanted this to be gold here, so let's do that. So I'm just going to start with this yellow, and then just like you would with chrome, once you have that base color, instead of the base color being white, base color is basically just yellow. And then now all my reflections and highlights I can add on top of this. So highlight, you can go white. Just kind of add that in. And then shadows, I'm going to go with kind of a deep brown, not shadows, but reflections, just a deep kind of brown. And for other reflections, we can do that just above everything else. So on the back here, for example, if this is some sort of patent leather, and then you can also erase. So even though I was using that marker brush, if I want to just get a nice spot in, we can do that as well. All right. I like this song. Just get a nice blend in there. Dark to light. Light on the top. What's up, Tom? Hey! Wouldn't be Fan Friday without the patrons. Yes, absolutely. Welcome. Thank you for joining. You missed the whole intro where I was saying thank you to the patrons. Welcome to the new one. So I'll be sure to circle back on that before we wrap up today. But we are coming a little bit to a close here. So just want to say, as I always do, thank you. Thank you for the support, for being the best. You guys are awesome. Alright, let's just do this heel here. This is not a new layer. I should probably drop it below the sketch layer because I want those lines to show through. So I'm just going to shade and then erase what I don't need. Just like so. And because the marker is additive in the way it shows up, I can kind of just shade there. Right? If I need to go darker, we can pick a darker color rather. Now go a little darker here. And just kind of blend through as we need to. This is kind of a stacked wood heel. I don't know what those are called, but Can add just a couple lines. Not a couple, a few lines. And don't worry about shading outside the lines because we can always erase what we don't need. Super easy. Because we are working digitally, so I don't need to be as careful as I normally would be. A little bit darker up here so this shows through. Alright, and then we can just, like I said, erase what we don't need. I'm not sure what this line is. I need to investigate here. The way I do that is I just turn layers on and off until I find the culprit. And looks like I already found it. Let's jump to this air highlighter. Just on the edge. Let's make sure we're on a, I'll just use the same layer, but make sure I'm on a layer high up. Now I can kind of highlight. Just these little edges that might be receiving a little extra. Little extra light. Alright, well I don't have my big fat marker digitally anyways, so what I'm gonna do, I mean I have a marker I could use. But I do want to just add a little shadow here. Just kind of rough this in. Alright, a little shadow through here for our shoe. Maybe a little hint of a reflection. If we want. And if we don't want, we can always just erase what we don't need. Or if you want to lighten it up, whatever you want to do. Just play with it. Someone mentioned earlier, like, getting a little creative with the backgrounds. We can do that. Alright, so if I want this to maybe have like a cool watercolor wash background, I do have in the Mega Pack, but also the Effects Pack. I think it's the Effects, or no, Watercolor Pack. There we go. I've got this watercolor wet spot brush. Alright, so I can make that big, and let's say I want to do red or something. We could do some watercolor stuff, watercolor looking stuff for the background, if we want to. Alright. So I'll just give you a couple examples here. There's also, they're not the exact same brushes, I will say. So I do have a Procreate pack as well as a Photoshop pack. The Photoshop pack is not the same in its entirety as the Procreate pack, and that's just by nature of the two apps and how the brush engines work, right? So I wanted the Procreate brushes to be the best Procreate brushes an industrial designer could use, at least the ones I use anyways. And then there's also Photoshop brushes, but those are different as well. So if you like Photoshop, you'll have access to those. Just adding a little bit of rim light here. Just to help this separate from the background. Tom says, cool to see some material rendering. Thank you. Yeah, I usually save stuff like this for workshops because it does take time, but it's also enjoyable to see when you do get a nice execution of materiality happening. So thank you for watching and hanging and being patient, guys. Much appreciated. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my Fan Friday, but thanks again for your submissions. Jordan and I are gonna convene because I didn't decide on what the next topic would be. So I'm gonna see, or if you guys have ideas, post them in the channel. Right? If there's something you want to see, post it up on the Discord. We'll take a look. I'd much rather do something you guys want to see than what I think we should do. But of course, given that this was the first time and new feature, just added some speckle there for texture. But given that, let's see, Pancratovalek say, if you want to see more, youtube.com/sketchaday.com. Instagram will always look awkward with the live stream, but I've got a fan base there, so. All right. So with that, hopefully you guys were able to learn a little bit here. Learn you something. We did our high heel pump. I'm going to go ahead and sign this as always. And like I said, if you are a Patreon, you will have access to these files in the Google Drive folder for patrons. Also went over and gave you guys some feedback on changes. So if you want to catch what this all means, catch the replay. Oh, I guess I can do this, yeah. So we have Svetlana and Art's submissions as well. We tweaked some proportion there. We've got Jordan's submission. And, see, I told you I'd forget the names. I'm terrible. Patrick says, I just purchased my first alcohol markers, and I've been playing while watching. That's great. Hopefully you're learning some stuff. You don't learn unless you do, I tell you what. I've had to teach myself that. These are by Classman. So, all right, so we got Classman, Jordan, Svetlana and Art. This is Gokul, I think, if I remember correctly. No, Rigel. And then Lori Burt as well. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully it was fun for you, or as much fun for you as it was for me. I'll be back. I always say I'll be back on Saturdays. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow, but I hope so. I think we did stream every day this week except Thursday, so I needed to catch up on life. But I'll be back Sunday for sure for Sci-Fi Sunday. If you like sci-fi stuff, we'll be back. Check it out. Tom says the Sketchaday Procreate brush pack is great and you love it. Thank you, Tom. I'm glad you enjoy it. Just by way of contextual addition here, I stand by everything I make and create. So if you purchase something and you have a problem with it, you can always reach out to me. I've refunded people before if they're not happy, but great to hear that you're happy, Tom. And hopefully you guys enjoy the brushes and the content and everything. And I love you all. Thank you for the support. Not that I couldn't do this without you, but it wouldn't be as much fun without you guys. So I appreciate you being here. Special shout out to the patrons once again. And for those who don't know what that is, what it's all about, Patreon is a way to just support your creators, support the people that you watch and enjoy. That's patreon.com. Check it out, but specifically patreon.com/sketchaday. Again, a way to support your favorite creators. Thank you to Justin and Junior for being our newest patrons. I wish they would just call them Patreons. But thank you for the support. Junior made an insane contribution, so much appreciated. Much love to you, and much love to you, Justin. Doesn't matter how big or small the contribution is, really. Sometimes I'm just shocked at the support. So thank you for that, and thank you to all the other patrons as well. Much love to you, and that's patreon.com/sketchaday. All right, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my Friday. I hope you guys do. Get drawing, get sketching. We will be posting in the weekly challenge channel on Discord what the next topic is. But if you have suggestions, definitely post them there. All right. Take care, and I will see you guys next time if I can find this button on Sketch-A-Day. All right. Peace out.